Yo, what's up, everyone? This is Kaizouwar here. I'm currently outside recording this, so bear with me if you hear any wind or rushing water or ducks because I'm at a park and I just want to record this and get this out of the way. Nintendo Switch 2 has been revealed. I have been spoiled on it like 2, 3 days prior to seeing like this actual reveal trailer, which I didn't really believe that. Oh, the spoiler I saw really wasn't a Switch. It really wasn't a real Switch. It was just some people making a mock-up like they always do. There's always people who making mock-up consoles and try to pass it off as a real thing. The Switch seems like the most popular one because it's easier to make like a fake handheld console than a full-on console, like a full-on fake console. But yeah, that leak I saw was actually real, and I just felt like, yeah, I got spoiled on this Switch 2 reveal. But it looks good. I gotta say that the Switch 2 looks amazing. It looks so modern. I think a lot of people had like complaints about the original Switch about how it looks cheap, like the dock looked cheap, the console they look kind of not as good as it could be. But I think the Switch has served its purpose. The Switch is a hybrid handheld slash console gaming platform, and I think it's done its job pretty well. I can understand why people have some gripes with the Switch, like from a design standpoint, but I really like the Switch. I think the design is pretty iconic, and I think this Switch 2 model just makes it look more modern. Like it looks like better. I personally do think it looks better than the original Switch, despite the fact that the Switch is more iconic of a design. But the Switch 2 it looks amazing. I cannot wait to get a hold of it. We also saw how the Joy-Cons are going to fit in. They're just going to click in like that, which that's something I'm going to get used to because I'm so used to like the idea of like the Switch just sliding in. I kind of like that whole sliding mechanism thing where you just like slide the Joy-Cons into the Switch itself. I kind of like that, but I understand why they would probably want to change it not to be the exact same way. They try to clip it in, and maybe people had complaints about how you slide the Joy-Cons into the Switch because I've heard people like I had issues with trying to push it into the track, or it gets stuck, or sometimes when you want to play the Switch, it'll wobble. Which I had an issue with my Switch, where like when you want to play the thing in handheld mode, like the Joy-Cons do kind of wobble because they feel like they don't fit in there all the way properly, and I can totally understand why people would have an issue with that. And so I hope this whole clip-on thing is a better way of trying to make that fit fit better in the hands because I can understand why people will have issues with that. Like you don't want to play the console and the Joy-Cons just snap off and like the whole console just falls to the ground. You just broke your damn Switch. Nobody wants to deal with that. But yeah, I am loving this design. It looks so smooth. It looks cool, and it's bigger than the original Switch, which I'm cool for. I had a feeling that the Switch OLED was probably going to be like the basis of whenever they would make a new Switch, and I was kind of right. I don't know. I don't know what size comparisons there are now, but I assume they're using the OLED as like a base model because it would make no sense to not use the OLED as a base model. It's kind of like the whole PS4 Pro to PS5 thing. Like you can play PS4 games in the PS5, and if they're PS4 compatible, they'll like upscale it to PS4 Pro standards, which it would make sense. And I assume that's what's going to happen with the Switch as well. They would not have the OLED model and not use the OLED technology on the handheld Switch. But I'm also happy that we are getting the ability to play old Switch games on the Switch too, because it just only makes sense. That there's no way they would like hamper their own view like base like that. Who would like actually buy the Switch 2? And like you would want to buy a Switch 2 for like new games and stuff like that, but I feel like it would cut out a huge audience if you don't have the ability to play the original Switch games. And I'm calling it right now before we get any information. They're going to do the same thing they did with the 3DS, where like you can play DS games in the 3DS, but you can't obviously play 3DS games in the DS, and they have a little jut, a little piece sticking out of the 3DS cartridge, so people won't shove it into the Nintendo DS to try to play that. And I pretty much assume that's how they're going to do the whole compatibility thing with the Switch 2. They're going to have like a little nub to where you could put Switch 2 games obviously in the Switch 2, and you can put Switch games in that Switch 2 because there won't be a nub on it, but you can't put Switch 2 games in the Nintendo Switch. That's what I feel like. And we also got a reveal for Mario Kart. Don't know yet. It's good. I assume it's gonna be Mario Kart 9. They could also like give it some wacky name, but everybody's calling it Mario Kart 9, so I'm just gonna call it Mario Kart 9. And Mario Kart 9 is looking amazing. It has 24 characters from what we've seen so far. Because it has 24 starting lines, which is insane if that's true. It would be absolutely insane to see a 24-player Mario Kart game. Sweet Jesus. Oh my God, this wind's killing me. But anyway, sweet Jesus. That would be absolutely totally insane. And I'm all for it though. Like, it would make sense to have Mario Kart 9 as the launch title because Mario Kart 8 Deluxe sold like so many goddamn copies. It's the best-selling Nintendo Switch game. Sold unbelievably well on the Nintendo Switch, despite the fact it wasn't even a launch title. It was one of the first games revealed for the Nintendo Switch when it came out, like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, but it wasn't like one of the launch titles. And so it's kind of crazy that, you know, Mario Kart 8 is a universally loved series. People love Mario Kart. Like, if you've never played a Mario game in your life, you've most likely played Mario Kart. It's just, everyone's played Mario Kart, so it would make sense to have Mario Kart 9 be the launch title. It'd be the very first game people would get their hands on. And plus, considering that Mario Kart Air has a big install base, it will make the shelves of the Switch 2 fly off a lot faster. People will be buying that shit right off the shelves like crazy, and I hope so too. My main thing right now is I'm waiting for hardware specs, and I'm not really a graphics person, I'm not really a hardware person, but the Switch, while I love it to death, my main issue with the Switch is like space. Like, you can honestly buy, you can buy stuff like that for your Switch, like for example, like SD card to expand the storage size. But that's not really like, you know, it's not going to help everyone, right? And I feel like, you know, expanding the Switch in regards to storage would be great. Another thing I would like is the ability to record stuff like on the PS5, where you're able to like not only loop back stuff like you can on the Switch, but you can record stuff up to an hour from like past recording stuff. I really wish you could do that on the Switch, because the Switch being only able to record only the past 30 seconds of your gameplay is not good, and you can't even like stream from the Switch, which is also a big issue for me personally, because I have a lot of Switch games and I don't have the best setup to run my Switch on like PC and stuff like that. I don't have the tools to do that, so I would prefer to be able to stream directly from my Switch, because I'm able to circumvent that problem with my PS5 and stuff like that, you know, because the PC I have is jank as all hell, and I don't it doesn't work right, so I kind of need to like be able to, you know, circumvent some of this stuff by streaming right off the console when I'm able to. And I hope the Switch 2 gives me the ability to do that, because I've been hoping for something like that. But that's really all I want. Outside of like, you know, minor stuff like themes and stuff like that. You know, the Switch definitely needs more themes instead of the basic black and the basic white. You know, I miss the old 3DS era of themes, man. Themes needs to be a goddamn permanent and game consoles, because I'm still sad about the PS5 not having themes. Like, oh my god. But that's beside the point. The point is, I'm excited for the Switch 2. I'm excited to see what more stuff is going to come out for it. I'm happy, and I am definitely looking forward to what we're going to see in the future. I don't have any game predictions of what I want to see on launch, but I do want to see some unexpected stuff. Like, I want some good launch titles, because some consoles recently, I'm talking about the PS5, they have good games and good launch titles, but they don't have good enough launch titles, you know what I mean? Like, they don't give me an incentive to buy the console right away, and that's why I hold off to buying a console. I've never bought a console day one before in like forever. Like, I can't even remember the last time I even bought a console day one, because the launch titles are just not that good, you know what I mean? Like, I waited a year until I bought the Nintendo Switch. I didn't get a PS5 until 4 years later. I didn't get a PS4 until 3 years after it came out. So I never got a console. Like a 3DS, I got a 3DS a year after. DS, I got a year after. So yeah, I never got a console on launch before, because there just hasn't been any really games that incentivize me to get the console right away. But I hope the Switch 2 comes out swinging, and I hope they come out with some unexpected games, and I hope they talk more about the hardware and see what types of games can be ported from other consoles onto the Switch 2. But I think that would be a huge driving point to be able to play, you know, higher graphical games on your Nintendo Switch. I think that would be a cool idea.